Hello, everyone. Just taking a break for a little bit. Just finished feeding the horses, and it's a good day. Busy already. We're supposed to get a couple more of the horses back on the ranch today, so that'll be good. It should be. They left to go get, I think, probably just two of the horses, but I think maybe we're getting three back in total. I don't know if they're going to try and transport all three in the trailer, which is doable. That is a 3-horse trailer, but we'll see. Um, but yeah, things have been going really good. I kind of skipped making a video yesterday. I guess I sort of talked myself out of it. More like I sat here trying to decide whether or not I wanted to do one and then couldn't think of what to talk about. And yeah, I don't know. It was sometimes making a video seems like it's a lot harder than it should be. But I guess that's just kind of life, is just figure it out as we go, right? I'm I'm in a state right now, or stage, where I'm figuring out what it is I want to do with my life. And that's always been difficult for me ever since I was even just a very small. Whenever anyone asked me what I wanted to do when I grow up, I had no idea. Um, and it became very clear to me in, I don't know, 6th grade on, from the age of 12 or so, that I did not want to work a regular job. I didn't, the idea of doing the same job for 20 years and retiring sounded like hell. And yeah, here now at the age of 35, I'm still not sure. Like, I find myself leaning toward something around coaching, or like life coaching or spiritual guidance or something along those lines. I don't know what the title for that might be. But that is where a great deal of my interest lies. I love learning. I love teaching. I love helping people to understand more about themselves and the world around them. And I've been studying and practicing personal development and spirituality in some sense for my whole life, but really intensively for the past 4 or 5 years, maybe 6 years now. Um, and I'm just finding my way through, you know? But I think that a lot of times that's all we can do in life. Most of the time, maybe, is just take one step at a time in the direction that feels at least a little bit right for you, in a direction that feels at least a little bit right. And so much of what I've been doing over these past like 2 years is just building relationships, developing friendships, um, being active in my community, and just kind of seeing what the world has in store for me. Seeing what my interest is, what my desire is, what calls to me. And uh it has been an exercise in developing my trust and my faith in that which is greater than myself. Because I have known since I was young that everything always works out. That hasn't given me a whole lot of courage until more recently, because it's hard to really live that and live that trust, or it has been for me. But It is there. It is the truth that everything always works out. I've always had what I needed. Much of the time, I've stressed a heck of a lot more than was valuable or useful or helpful. Everything always has worked out. I have always had what I needed. And if you think about it, if you're watching this video right now, you have always had what you needed. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here, right? You've always had what you needed. And chances are you will always have what you need. We are provided for. There's always a source for abundance. As long as we let ourselves actually reach out and accept it. You have what you need. All the problems we're facing are temporary. Every problem is temporary. I mean, everything is temporary, really. But problems, especially, they come and go. We find solutions, we make friends, you meet somebody who says something in a way that brings clarity, and suddenly that thing that was this massive problem, like, isn't even a second thought anymore. A shift in perception is that powerful. And all we have to do is be willing. Be willing to see things differently. Be willing to recognize that our current perspective, our current idea of the situation isn't the ultimate truth of it. I think it was Socrates that said the wise man knows that he does not know. Recognize that there's more to learn. There's another way to see it. The primary difference between people who are ultimately successful and people who are not is their perspective, their perception of the world. And that is something that we can change. We can consciously change how we see the world. And it comes through willingness, and it comes through repetition of a new thought, because a belief is just a thought that we keep thinking. It's a thought that we have thought so many times that it has become seemingly concrete in our mind. And yet, if we bring awareness to that thought and choose a different thought that feels better, that brings us more into alignment with success, then we begin to make different choices and take different actions and have different people show up for us. So think about it this way. If you're in a state where you're depressed more often than not, You're less likely to reach out for help. You're less likely to even to try to take action because your thoughts are going to be telling you, your depressed state is going to be telling you that it's not going to work out, or it's not worth it, or you don't deserve it. But in reality, if you were to just shift your perspective, and when you're depressed, that might look like getting angry, and that's okay. Anger brings empowerment to depression. And in fact, I've heard it said that depression is just anger turned on yourself. It's anger turned inward. And at least sometimes I've experienced that for sure. I've spent a, most of the first 30 years of my life in depression. And when you're depressed, you don't have the energy to do anything. You don't have the drive. You talk yourself out of things constantly. You tell yourself that people don't want to be around you. And in some sense, that is true, right? Because it's not fun to be around someone who, it doesn't feel good to be around someone who is very, very depressed. And yet, many people would love to have the opportunity to provide support and love and just be there with you for an hour or two, right? We all love having that opportunity to help. So when you can recognize where you are, recognize the thoughts that you're thinking, the beliefs that you're holding that that make you where you are, that make your life the way it is, then you can begin to change them. Because when you're angry, you can actually go take action. Anger brings a lot of people out to march on the streets, to protest, to make changes that move toward the better. Now, of course, none of us wants to hang out in anger. It's not a fun place to be in. It is more empowering than depression, but we can move through anger into higher emotional states. If we can get to a state where we are excited, where we have things to look forward to, where we tell ourselves these stories that make life magical and interesting and beautiful, we can practice appreciation. Find appreciation for your cat or your dog or the birds outside, the beautiful green trees, the flowers, the blue sky, the water, the food, the clean water, the good food that you have. We can appreciate these things. That blue sky, that's there for everybody. Even if you're living in a city where it's smoggy and gross, you can still look up and see the beauty behind it. You can still go to your local park and see the squirrels and the birds and the trees and the grass and appreciate the beauty that's there. You can look at your own body and appreciate that your body develops this skin that protects your insides, your heart that beats without you trying to beat it, the lungs that breathe for you. Your eyes, your ears, your ability to perceive the world around you is worthy of appreciation. And when you live in a state of appreciation, you feel more happiness, you feel more joy, you feel more vibrant, you feel more alive. You attract people around you. People want to spend time in your presence just because you show deep appreciation and you're in love with life. Hmm. Every single one of us has the ability and the capacity to shift how we view this world, to shift how we view our experience. We can brainwash ourselves because we've already been brainwashed. That's what it is. That is the state of existence in this world, is that our mind changes. Our perspective changes. That's what it's that's part of it. It's part of why we are so adaptable as beings and we can live pretty much anywhere because we can adapt. Because our thoughts, our beliefs change over time. Why not be a conscious creator of your own thoughts, of your own beliefs, of your own emotional state? You can actively change your thoughts, and that will result in changing your life completely. You will have more peace. You'll experience more joy. You will make room in your life for really wonderful, beautiful, surprising, amazing things to happen, and all the best people to make themselves known to you. Open your heart, open your mind, and allow yourself to exist differently. And one of the most important things is to give yourself grace. These changes can happen overnight, and often they don't. We have a lot of years of practicing this old way of being. Give yourself the opportunity to live something new. You deserve it. Peace and blessings. Be well.